We live in an age of the life hack. We are obsessed with the path of least resistance. Likewise, we want the cheat code for success, the 7-minute workout, the app that will teach us a language in a month. We have come to see difficulty as a signal that we are on the wrong path. If it's hard, we quit. If we meet resistance, our first instinct is to find an easier way. Our culture worships the overnight success, but we have become allergic to the journey. In our relentless pursuit of a smooth, frictionless existence, we must ask a difficult question. Are we accidentally making ourselves fragile? What if hardship is not an obstacle on the path, but the path itself? This was a central question for the great philosophers of ancient Greece. They weren't just interested in abstract ideas. They were engaged in a practical project, the art of building a virtuous character and living a flourishing life. Two of the greatest architects of the soul, Epictetus the Stoic and Aristotle before him, gave us complementary blueprints for this project. They began with the understanding that you cannot build strength without resistance. Epictetus, a man whose life was defined by hardship, gave us the perfect lens through which to view our struggles, teaching that difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Think about that. Comfort reveals nothing. In a calm sea, every sailor seems like a captain. It is only in the storm that you discover the true quality of your skill, your courage, and your resilience. For Epictetus, difficulties are not a punishment from the universe. They are a mirror. They are a diagnostic tool that provides an unflinching, honest reflection of your current character. The difficult client, the unexpected illness, the painful breakup, these are not just events to be endured. They are opportunities to truly meet yourself. Theodore Roosevelt is a powerful modern example of this. Born a frail, asthmatic child, he was told to live a sheltered life. Instead, he embraced what he called the strenuous life. His greatest test came when his wife and mother died on the same day. He was shattered, so he sought out the harshest difficulty he could find, fleeing to the Dakota Badlands to become a cattle rancher. The Badlands were his mirror. They showed him that beneath his grief, there was a core of resilience he didn't know he had. He didn't just survive his difficulty. He used it as a tool for his own creation. This is the Stoic diagnosis. Hardship is a test that reveals your character. But what exactly is this character that hardship reveals? For a more detailed blueprint, we can turn to Aristotle. Writing centuries before Epictetus, Aristotle asked what he considered the most important question of all. What is the ultimate purpose of human life? His answer was eudaimonia, a rich word often translated as flourishing or a life well lived. For Aristotle, eudaimonia is not a feeling of pleasure or happiness. It is an activity. It is the activity of living in accordance with virtue, or arete, which means excellence. To flourish as a human being is to become excellent at being human. How do we do that? By cultivating the virtues. And what is virtue? Aristotle gives us a brilliant practical model, the golden mean. He argued that every virtue is the perfect midpoint between two vices, a vice of excess and a vice of deficiency. For example, the virtue of courage is the golden mean between the deficiency of cowardice and the excess of rashness. The cowardly person flees from every difficulty. The rash person runs foolishly into every danger. The courageous person feels the fear, assesses the risk with reason, and acts appropriately despite the fear. Think of generosity. It is the mean between stinginess, the deficiency, and wastefulness, the excess. The truly generous person gives the right amount to the right people at the right time. How does this connect to Epictetus? Difficulties are what show you what you are, because they are the situations that demand a virtuous response. When you face a frightening situation, the mirror of that difficulty shows you where you are on the spectrum. Are you acting with cowardice, rashness, or true courage? When you have an opportunity to give, does the mirror show you to be stingy, wasteful, or truly generous? The hardship is the testing ground where you discover whether you are living in accordance with the golden mean. Epictetus gives us the mirror. Aristotle gives us the precise measurements to understand what we see in it. So, if difficulty is the mirror, and virtue is the ideal reflection, how do we close the gap between the person we are and the person we want to be? This brings us to the second, crucial pillar of this Greek system for self-creation. It is a slow, patient, artisanal process. As Epictetus reminds us in his discourses, no great thing is created suddenly. This is a rebuke to our culture of instant gratification. We want to become virtuous by reading a book about virtue. We want to become brave by watching a movie about bravery. But that's not how it works. And here, Aristotle provides the ultimate explanation for why no great thing is created suddenly. In his Nicomachean Ethics, he gives us a truth that is the very foundation of character development. Virtue is a habit, hexis. He famously stated that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This is one of the most practical pieces of wisdom ever uttered. You are not a courageous person because you once thought a brave thought. You become courageous by repeatedly performing courageous acts. You become just by repeatedly doing just things. You become temperate by repeatedly practicing self-control. Aristotle uses the analogy of a craftsman. A person doesn't become a master harpist by just wanting it, or by reading the theory of music. They become a harpist by playing the harp day after day, year after year. Their fingers learn the strings. Their ears learn the notes. It is the patient, repeated action that builds the skill into their very being. For Aristotle, character is a craft, and you are the artisan of your own soul. The difficulties that Epictetus speaks of are the raw material, like a block of marble. Your choices and actions are the chisel. Every time you face a difficulty and choose to act in accordance with the golden mean, every time you choose the courageous response over the cowardly one, the patient response over the angry one, you are making one small, patient strike with your chisel. Day after day, a single strike seems to do nothing. But over a lifetime, thousands of these small, deliberate acts sculpt the raw material of your potential into the finished statue of a virtuous character. This is why no great thing is created suddenly. The creation of a great character, a flourishing soul, is the most complex craft of all. It requires the patience of the artisans who built the great cathedrals of Europe. They knew they would never see the finished product. They simply focused on laying each stone perfectly, one at a time, trusting in the process. So, how do we apply this unified Greek vision? We must synthesize the wisdom of Epictetus and Aristotle. First, reframe hardship as the practice ground for virtue. When life presents you with a difficulty, see it through two lenses. The Epictetan lens asks, "What is this mirror showing me about my current habits?" The Aristotelian lens asks, "Which virtue is this situation calling for? And what action would represent the golden mean?" This turns every obstacle from a burden into a practical ethics workshop. Second, embrace your role as a character craftsman. Fall in love with the daily process of habit formation. The modern world is obsessed with outcomes, but the Greek path is to find meaning and satisfaction in the doing. Find satisfaction in the act of practicing patience one more time, of choosing the honest path one more time, regardless of the immediate result. When you focus on the quality of your actions, the quality of your character will take care of itself. Building a strong character, a great thing, is a lifelong project. Don't be discouraged by your flaws or by slow progress. The mirror of difficulty will show you your imperfections. And your job is to be the patient artisan, chipping away at those imperfections day after day with small, repeated, virtuous acts. We began by talking about our culture's allergy to difficulty. The path shown by the great Greek philosophers is the antidote. It is a call to embrace challenges as the very substance of a flourishing life. Avoiding hardship does not protect you. It weakens you. Facing it is what reveals your character. And practicing virtue as a habit, patiently and deliberately, is what builds it into something great. Remember this two-part blueprint for a life of strength and meaning. First, when the world tests you, remember the Stoic truth that difficulties are things that show a person what they are. And second, as you work to sculpt yourself in the face of those tests, remember the Aristotelian truth that no great thing is created suddenly. Life is the workshop. You are the artisan, and your character is the masterpiece you are patiently crafting, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us at the Inner Citadel. If this helped you reframe your own struggles, please like this video and subscribe for more tools to build a resilient mind. We'll see you next time.